All right, we're back, everyone. Cypress trees are large and tall, iconic images of the South. You can find them near water for a perfect backdrop. In this week's Next to Nature, we learn about these old trees.
All right, welcome back to Next to Nature this week with Dr. John Long, and we're talking about trees this week, trees that are very unique to the South. And one of those, the iconic trees, I guess you might almost say, the cypress tree.
We think of the South, you know, we think of the Spanish moss hanging off of cypress trees, and and it really is kind of a staple, you could say, for our area and for much of the South, because we have such a low-lying swampy areas in parts of the state. But the cypress tree is a really neat tree. You can see behind us how thick they can be in a cypress break, and they really prolific as far as being in an area that's a low-lying wet area, which we have here. It's swampy, almost no degree of change in the topography. It's, like I said, a flat, swampy plain is what we're standing in now, and that's where they grow the most. People ask about cypress knees. You ever heard of what a cypress knee is for? Have you ever heard that?
I have not. I'm about to learn something new.
People will say that, you know, that helps the tree breathe. Well, I thought, oh, you're kidding. There's no way that is. It's part of helping aerate the roots under the water. So when you see a cypress knee, that's what it's for, as well as stability within the tree itself, because you can think of a tree being high and spindly and wind gets in it, then you can have some little tipsy or break, you know. Yeah. And cypress have those cypress knees in order to provide stability as well.
And so what you were saying too about the swampy areas, why is it that this particular tree grows so well in swampy areas?
Well, it's like any aquatic plant. You don't find them in places where they're dry. These plants have been adapted to living in these type of environments, and the environment they live in is water or moist soil for sure. They don't have to necessarily be in water, but in definitely a moist soil area.
And I will also say, fishermen beware, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can be careful, because when they're tight knit like that, I've seen a lot of times cottonmouthed snakes will be in those trees, and you got to be careful around those low limbs in there too. A lot of different types of things, but that's the ones I've noticed the most.
Now, are there certain types of birds that will call cypress trees home?
Right. We're on the Knox Creek Refuge right now, and they have what's known as a rookery, where the egrets come and stay, and they nest in these cypress trees. It is amazing to see how many birds are in that rookery, and they just utilize what's existing for that to build those nests in, and just so happens these trees are a good place for them to build those nests.
Fantastic.
Cypress lumber too. I mean, a lot of people, cypress lumber is really one of those lumbers that is really wanted for certain things like furniture, different. Even use them for caskets because of because of the way they're
Didn't know that.
tough. They're tough, and they're very beautiful too. Once you cut lumber out of it. In fact, a lot of the Delta back in the 30s, which the Delta has a lot of cypress trees, a lot back in the 30s were timbered, logged out, and that was for that very reason, for the economic value of that lumber. And we also have the state's largest cypress tree in the Delta.
Really?
70 feet tall with a 15-foot diameter.
Wow.
Thing is huge.
Yeah, it is.
And
so, one last question: how long can these trees grow?
So over in the Delta, some of those trees are at least they're over 1,000 years old. It's estimated that they would be over 1,000.
Wow.
So they can live a long time.
A lot of living history all around us.
Live longer than us. So
no doubt.
for sure.
All right, that'll do it for this week's Next to Nature. We'll see you back here again next week.